Election coverage on this Super Tuesday. A devastating tornado touches down in Tennessee, and an update on the spread of the coronavirus. This is OU Nightly. For joining us for OU Nightly, I'm Dylan Rivera.
And I'm Madissen Lewis. We're following two major stories at this hour. The U.S. coronavirus, death count continues to climb, and its financial impact triggered another steep sell-off on Wall Street today.
Nightly's Alyse Jones will have much more on that, but we begin tonight with election news. It's Super Tuesday, and people in 14 states across the country are going to the polls today, including Oklahoma.
OU Nightly's Cal Day has made some stops at a few polling places in the city. He joins us now live. Cal?
Yeah, good evening, Dylan and Madissen. We're just outside the Alameda Church of Christ right here in Norman. It's one of the several places to go out and vote in the city here today. We'll step out of the way here. As you can see, the doors to this place have been receiving a lot of traffic in the last several minutes since we arrived here. It's definitely picked up from when we were here earlier. People have been walking in for the last half hour in droves, it seems like, coming in to cast their ballot. Now, I had the chance to speak with the inspector of this location as well as a couple others, and I've been told that for the most part, voter turnout has been excellent today. I made a stop over at University Lutheran, which is close to OU's campus, and they told me that the people coming out to vote have been happy to come out and cast their ballots. Now, of course, the turnout's been really good. This location behind me typically gets about 300 people. They say that number is on par for this election as well. And of course, we'll have continuing coverage of the election day as the results start to come in later on tonight. For now, we're live just outside Alameda Church of Christ, Cal Day, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Cal. The entire state of Oklahoma will decide on a Democratic presidential nominee, but local elections are also taking place in some parts of the state. OU Nightly's politics reporter Taitum Wilson gives us a Tuesday rundown. Taitum?
Today, Norman voters are also weighing in on another liquor law. Cleveland, Oklahoma, and Tulsa counties are among the 7 that will vote on whether liquor stores can stay open on Sundays. The vote comes more than 3 years after Oklahomans decided that grocery stores could sell strong beer and wine. Oklahoma City voters are also voting on whether to implement a 1/8 cent sales tax to go toward city parks. Former Vice President Joe Biden is coming into Super Tuesday with some recent campaign boosts under his belt. Not only did he win big in South Carolina, he also won some big endorsements.
I cannot think of a better way to end my campaign than joining his.
And I'm encouraging everybody who was part of my campaign to join me because we have found that leader in Vice President, soon-to-be President, Joe Biden.
Ladies and gentlemen, el próximo presidente de los Estados Unidos, Joe Biden. Let's do it for Joe.
That's right. Senator Amy Klobuchar and former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg suspended their campaigns and endorsed Biden last night in Dallas. And former Democratic presidential candidate and Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke joined in as well. 14 states, including Oklahoma, are voting today, with the most populous and delegate-rich states, California and Texas among them. More than a third of delegates are up for grabs tonight. Right now, the candidates still in the running include Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Mike Bloomberg, and Tulsi Gabbard. Sanders enters today as the frontrunner with the most delegates, but tonight's results could shape the Democratic field going forward. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Taitum, and you can see those results live as they come in tonight on a special edition of OU Nightly tonight at 8 p.m. And at least 22 people are dead and dozens more injured in Nashville tonight.
A devastating tornado cut through a 145-mile stretch of central Tennessee. Daryl Forges is in Nashville as the survivors sort through the damage.
Many OU students who are expecting to travel for spring break. However, there are some
The sun
who
rising over Tennessee reveals the true extent of the damage.
A lot of homes that were there in these subdivisions that are totally wiped away. I mean, there's nothing left. You can't even tell a home was there before.
A deadly tornado ripped through Nashville overnight.
There it is. Go inside. Out.
Leaving people here just moments to respond.
It sounded like gunshots going off. We heard the windows blowing in.
So we're running down the hallway, the ceiling is just caving in, just debris everywhere.
As the hours passed, more and more deaths confirmed. Now search and rescue teams are working to locate anyone who might still be trapped.
We're just trying to map it out so that we can actually put more boots on the grounds to make sure that we're taking care of people that we may not even know that's injured or hurt.
Schools in the area are closed for the week, some because of damage, some because they're still being used as shelters. Polling locations in several counties have delayed Super Tuesday voting by 1 hour due to street closures and power outages.
We also want folks to exercise their rights and get out there and vote.
In Nashville, Tennessee, I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
It's awful to see the damage done by the tornado, and our thoughts and prayers are with the families affected by this tragedy.
Absolutely. And as we see what the aftermath looked like, Jack Maney joins us in weather with a little bit on how it looked from the radar. Jack?
Yeah, right now we're looking at a radar loop of what the storms looked like last night. You can see this big old complex of severe thunderstorms going all the way across the Ohio River Valley and Tennessee River Valley. As you can see, there's several tornado reports out there in Missouri and Kentucky, but the real big player was this supercell that moved across down by Nashville. That was a long track supercell that produced at least 3 tornadoes, if not possibly more, and here's a radar image from 12:40 a.m. last night. It's just about as scary of a radar image as you can see. This right here, this little ball, that's a debris ball. That's that little bright spot. That is debris being lofted by that tornado. It's just truly a tragic scene for Nashville. We'll have more information coming up on the Nashville tornado and rain chances for Wednesday and a warm-up coming up this weekend. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Jack. The university is warning students about coronavirus just weeks before they take off for spring break. OU Nightly's Austin Hernandez spoke with a few students who may reevaluate their plans.
Too late to back out now.
The mindset of many OU students who are expecting to travel for spring break. However, there are some who made the decision to stay put for the week.
I would have to say I would cancel it, but not just because of the panic, just the fact that it is spreading in Europe right now, but it's better to be safe than sorry in my perspective.
A travel guidance has been sent out for those who are expecting to follow through with their current plans. Depending on your destination, the university is recommending that you change or cancel your plans to ensure your own well-being.
Yeah, there's a 0% chance I'll cancel. I just spent way too much money to throw it all away. So.
Should you travel through any of the impacted countries, the university requires that you complete the following before returning: a telephone medical screening, a self-isolation period of 14 days, and a follow-up on a telephone medical screening through health services.
I do appreciate the fact that OU is doing what they can to warn us about the dangers of traveling, but I know there's plenty of us who just aren't changing our plans. So.
The university says this situation is likely to continue, and their list of impacted countries is subject to change with little or no notice. Austin Hernandez, OU Nightly.
The university is monitoring this ever-changing situation and will provide updates as the situation evolves.
As the coronavirus continues to claim lives across the nation, the search for a cure remains a priority. Stay with us to find out more about the possible development of a vaccine.
Plus, not only is the coronavirus impacting people across the world, but it's also impacting OU students' summer travel plans. Stay with us to find out how the spread of the virus could cancel a student organization's annual study abroad trip.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. With the death toll rising from the coronavirus, the demand for the development of a vaccine continues to rise. Alyse Jones joins us in the News Center with more on the virus and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Madissen. As the coronavirus outbreak continues to spread, President Trump encourages companies to speed up the process of developing a vaccine.
I met yesterday with the biggest drug companies, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and many of the other great companies, and a lot of good things are happening, and they're happening very fast. I said, do me a favor, speed it up, and they will.
There are 118 cases of coronavirus in the United States, and at least 9 patients have died in Washington state. And the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 0.5 percentage point this morning. These cuts were made after the stock market and President Trump encouraged the Fed to act now due to ongoing coronavirus concerns. The Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the U.S. and other G7 nations were prepared to take action just hours before the cuts were made. The markets worry that economic damage from the coronavirus could last months or even quarters. Now, Apple is offering up to $500 million to settle a lawsuit accusing the company of slowing down old iPhone models. Apple admitted in 2017 that it used software updates to slow down older iPhones. The proposed settlement requires Apple to pay $25 per affected device to owners of certain models, totaling a minimum of $310 million and maximum of $500 million. The settlement agreement is subject to approval by a judge in early April. And President Trump is considering cutting off travel to certain countries badly affected by the coronavirus. These countries include Japan, South Korea, and Italy.
Thanks, Alyse. Out of the 120 students in the president's leadership class here at OU, about 80 are selected to study abroad in Italy. For students, it is a dream come true, and for some, the only time they'll have to study abroad. With coronavirus risks increasing and study abroad trips ending early, it is possible these students won't experience the summer trip they have been waiting for.
I already bought my plane tickets from here to Italy and like everything, like Italy back, all that stuff in between. So as far as I know, I'm still going.
OU leaders say they will have to assess the situation with the coronavirus closer to the departure date.
Well, it's March, and that means Dylan is thinking about March Madness.
I am, and so are the OU money experts. Find out about their basketball-themed event happening tonight.
And it's warming up outside. Jack Maney has more on whether these temperatures are here to stay.
That's right. We'll be talking about more warm temperatures coming in and a rain chance for tomorrow coming up after the break. Welcome back to OU Nightly. We're looking at a live radar loop of that tornado as it moved through Nashville last night. The tornado was, you can see it right here by this debris ball on radar, this little bright spot right in there. That is about as tragic of a radar image as you can possibly see, especially going into a large metropolitan area like this. Nashville, that tornado touched down just on the west side of Nashville, and then it moved off towards the east and affected several other communities, such as Mount Juliet and Lakewood. There was a lot of damage, a lot of very tragic pictures coming out of this area for just that very strong tornado. Right now, what we do know about the tornado is damage surveys are still ongoing, but we do know that we have seen at least a a low-end minimum of an EF3 rating from those damage surveys, and they still have a long way to go out there before we get a final count. And we have seen a large number of fatalities. This has actually just increased in the last few minutes. We are now at 25 fatalities out of Nashville. It really calls back images for us that we dealt with around here about 7 years ago and more. It's just a very, very tragic scene out of Nashville. But for us looking forward towards today and our weather right now, we're not dealing with anything quite so tragic as that. We're looking at a pretty nice day outside. It's feeling a little bit more spring-like. We've got 65 degrees and light winds out of the east here in Oklahoma. We're looking across the state, mostly 60s, a few upper 60s across the southern portions of the state, maybe a few 50s out in the panhandle right now. It's a pretty nice day, but we're looking at clouds building in from the south, and that is associated with our next weather maker. We will have rain chances coming in overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, but they are pretty low for us here in Norman. The rain is expected to stay down in southern Oklahoma and not really, it will try to make a run at us, but our rain chances are fairly low with this system. Our highs tomorrow, 60 degrees here in Oklahoma City, 59 in Norman, a little bit cooler off down towards the south where it's still going to be raining and cloudier, and a little warmer off towards the northwest. Looking ahead towards our week, we've got a big warm up for Thursday as we clear out some of these clouds. And then the warm-up continues into the weekend. The winds will pick up pretty strongly before our next rain chance arrives at the beginning of next week. Could crack into the 70s on Monday, and then another cold front looks possible by the end of next week.
Well, Jack, I am looking forward to spring showers because, you know, they always bring Mayflowers.
Yeah, it's starting to look like we're heading towards spring. Might finally kick this winter thing to the curb.
Exciting. Well, thank you, Jack. With basketball season in full swing, the money experts here at OU are combining finances with the beloved sport. MidFirst Bank's money coaching program is hosting Money Madness, a workshop teaching students everything they need to know about building and managing their credit scores. With a March Madness theme and the chance to win a $500 scholarship, OU students should have an opportunity to have some fun while picking up some knowledge. Along the way, of course.
Basketball's popular. People want to make money, so I guess it makes sense. Sounds fun.
Money Madness will continue tonight in the Walker Storm Cell Shelter around 6 p.m.
And it's OU Texas, not in the Cotton Bowl though, it's at Lloyd Noble Center.
That's right, guys. We've got some Sooner basketball tonight, OU Texas, to round out the home basketball season for the Sooners. And coming up, we'll have a new segment for you just in time for our new segment. It's all back when we get back. Thank you. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Kemper and it's time for sports. It's Red River rivalry at home for the Sooners tonight as they take on Texas. Coming off two huge wins over ranked opponents, OU is looking to cement themselves in the tournament with a win over Texas. Tip-off is set for 8 o'clock. Admission is free for students. The accolades keep on rolling in for OU pitcher Dane Acker. Acker was named National Pitcher of the Week by the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association following his no-hitter against LSU on Sunday. This was just the 7th no-hitter in Sooners baseball history and the first since 1989. OU's Jackson Webb took home some hardware this past weekend at the Big 12 Championship for indoor track. Webb finished first in men's 60-meter dash. His speed isn't just used on the track field, though. He's also a dual-sport athlete, returning punts for the Sooner football team. And stop me if you've heard this one before, but Maggie Nichols has been named Big 12 Gymnast of the Week again. Nichols earned the honor following her impressive showing in the Sooners' Saturday win over Denver. Nichols was the only one who made an impact, as Reagan Smith was named Big 12 Newcomer of the Week. And in case you missed it, folks over at SportsPad were joined by two of OU's top wrestling talents last night. Dom Demas and Justin Thomas stopped by to talk about their season and have a little fun too. You can catch the full replay of last night's SportsPad right here following the broadcast. And now let's check in on some of the NBA's top storylines in OU Nightly's newest segment, Just Ballin'. LeVar Ball is back, and boy does he have some things to say. The first, his son Lonzo and the Pelicans will beat the Lakers in the first round of the NBA playoffs, even though they're still 3 games back from 8th place. The second, his son LiAngelo Ball will be an NBA scoring champion. That is quite a step up from his current status on the practice squad of the Oklahoma City Thunder's G League team. The New York Knicks got a huge win last night against the Houston Rockets, but since it's the Knicks, of course there's behind-the-scenes drama. Video surfaced of Knicks superfan and Academy Award winner Spike Lee in an argument prior to the game. Lee claims he was told he could not enter MSG through the entrance he's used for over 28 years. Even when the Knicks win, they still lose. And let's take a look at some of the primetime games coming up this week. Tonight, Paul George returns to Oklahoma City for the second time this season since joining his new squad, when the Thunder host the Clippers. Thursday, we have another matchup between Western Conference playoff teams when the Clippers go up against the Beard, the Brody, and the Rockets in Houston. And Friday night is the main event as Giannis and the Bucks head to LA to take on LeBron and the Lakers. A lot of good games coming up this week. Dylan, what are you most excited to see?
I'm excited for that game tomorrow night with the Thunder and Clippers. I think anytime Paul George comes back, it gets exciting.
Hey, it's always fun. You know, we already won that Paul George trade. Might as well beat him on the floor, too.
Exactly right. Thank you so much, Kemper. And it's been a tough couple of days for students at Penn State after the recent closure of a popular on-campus fast food restaurant.
Stay with us to find out how these students are coming together to honor the restaurant's lasting legacy.
Penn State students are mourning the loss of the recent closure of an on-campus Taco Bell.
Students organized a candlelight vigil on Facebook that quickly went viral. The purple bell was removed and the windows boarded up, but students say it's gone but never forgotten. Now, Dylan, I would be pretty upset if the Taco Bell around here closed. I love that Doritos Locos taco.
I do too, but I also love warm temperatures. Jack, are we going to stay warm?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to stay just about as warm as the Taco Bell hot sauce out there coming up this weekend. We're going to be cracking the upper 60s and low 70s possibly by Monday with a few rain chances on the way. Sunday, possibly a 40% chance. That'll probably go up as we get closer and we get a little bit more certain about what's going to be going on out there.
That's all we have for OU Nightly tonight. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.